All right, today we're going to talk about a skill that, let's be honest, feels almost impossible in our hyperfast world. I'm talking about patience. We've all been told to practice it since we were kids, right? But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if patience isn't about quietly waiting around, but is actually a superpower?
I mean, seriously, think about it. You're stuck in gridlock, you're late for something important, and you just lean on that horn. You know deep down it's not going to magically part the cars. That honk isn't a solution. It's what the writer Oliver Berkman calls an existential howl of rage. It's a protest against the simple fact that you can't bend reality to your will. Sound familiar? Yeah, I thought so.
And check out this number, $1.6 billion. That's what Amazon figures it would lose in sales every year if its homepage loaded just one single second slower. That's how deep our collective impatience runs. We can't even wait 1 second. But really, that massive financial cost, it's just a symptom of a much deeper, more personal struggle we're all going through.
So, what is it we're actually fighting against? You know, this definition from Oliver Berkman, I think it just nails it. Impatience is that friction between the speed we demand and the speed at which life, our kids, our work, our problems actually happens. In that gap, that's where all the frustration and anxiety lives.
So how in the world did we get here? Let's take a look at the small, almost funny ways our impatience pops up every single day. We've all been there, right? You pop something in the microwave and you just can't stand to wait for that ding. You yank the door open with 7 seconds still on the clock. Or you're trying to read a book, but the slow pace feels like torture and your mind is just racing ahead. And maybe the most telling one of all, in a conversation, are you really listening or are you just waiting for your turn to talk? These aren't just little quirks. They're symptoms of a much bigger condition.
Okay, so we've established we're all impatient. But why? What happened to us? It's time to dig into the diagnosis.
This really shows the core shift. The speaker, Gaur Gopal Das, calls our world a concrete jungle of instant gratification. See, in the past, patience wasn't something you had to work on. It was the default setting, because life was just slower. Waiting was just part of the deal. But today, convenience has completely eroded that natural muscle. Patience is no longer automatic. It has to be a conscious, deliberate choice. And hey, it's not just our environment. It's in our biology too. Research shows these habits might be rooted deeper. There's specific brain chemistry involved, like serotonin levels, and even our personality type. As you can see here, those competitive, always-in-a-hurry type A personalities are way more likely to struggle with impatience than their more laid-back type B friends. So yeah, there are some real biological factors at play. Okay, this is the pivot. We've diagnosed the problem, and now we're going to completely reframe it. We're going to stop seeing patience as some kind of weakness and start seeing it for what it truly is in the modern world, a genuine superpower.
Just let that sink in for a second. In a world that prizes speed above literally everything else, the ability to consciously slow down, to resist that frantic urge to hurry, that becomes a radical act. It becomes a source of power. It lets you see things and make connections that everybody else just rushes right past.
For way too long, we've connected patience with being passive, like a Victorian woman being told to just stay home and wait quietly. That's the old model. The new model is patience as a strategic weapon. Think about Mahatma Gandhi or Martin Luther King Jr. Their patience wasn't about giving up. It was the exact opposite. It was an active, strategic choice to wait out an oppressor until victory was basically guaranteed. Now that is power.
So if it's so powerful, why does it feel so agonizing? Well, it's because patience forces us to face two really uncomfortable truths. One, our time is finite. We get about 4,000 weeks on this planet, give or take. And two, we have very, very little control over the pace of reality. Hurrying is just our attempt to feel like we're in charge. Patience requires us to give up that illusion. And that surrender, well, it's painful.
So how do we actually build this muscle? How do we start to harness this power? Let's get practical. Let's get into the toolkit, a training program you can literally start today.
All right, first up, practice creative waiting. When you hit a problem, instead of frantically trying a million things, just stop. Observe it. Let the solution reveal itself in its own time. Second, embrace the power of stopping. The most productive people are also really good at just walking away when the time is up. It prevents burnout and means you'll be fresh tomorrow. And third, learn to do one thing at a time. This is a tough one. You have to tolerate the anxiety of all the other stuff on your list and give your full, undivided focus to the task at hand. It's hard, but it's how truly meaningful work gets done.
Looking for more ideas? Try gardening. It's a beautiful physical reminder that things grow at their own pace. Or you can consciously reframe those frustrating moments. That traffic jam? It's not a crisis. It's an opportunity for some deep breathing. Practice gratitude. Studies actually show it makes it easier to delay gratification. Or try this. Plan a purchase for next month instead of just buying it now. Each one of these is like a little rep at the patient's gym.
So you put in the work, you build the muscle. What's the ultimate payoff? It might not be what you think. This quote from Gandhi just puts it perfectly. This isn't about feeling a little less stressed out. The stakes are way higher. In our careers, in our relationships, in our personal goals, patience is often the one thing that decides whether we give up or achieve something truly great. And this, right here, is the ultimate takeaway. The point of cultivating patience isn't necessarily to be happier, because honestly, slowing down often hurts at first. Our brains are just not wired for it anymore. The real payoff is a more meaningful life. By slowing down to the speed at which reality actually unfolds, we get to experience our very limited time here more deeply and more fully. So I'll just leave you with this question. We all know slowing down is hard. It pushes against every single modern impulse we have. But it's worth asking yourself, in your constant rush to get to the next thing, what important details, what quiet moments, what deep connections are you missing along the way?